Are you ready to rock your inner rock star? I know I am. That's what this is all about, this next stage of my life. It's funny, it's always the next stage. So if you're wondering if it's your next stage, honey, if you're living and breathing and wanting more, going after it, achieving it, but maybe getting stuck now and then, or maybe you're not even sure where to start. But the fact is, you got this burning desire in you to go, right? That's how I want you to feel inside. And I know that ain't always easy, right? So I really want to talk to you about unleashing your inner rock star. And where does that start? It's really about self-discovery and goal getting, right? I know this isn't for everybody, but if this is for you, if you want more, if you're ready for that next step in your life, if you are feeling that I am maybe a little unfulfilled, maybe a little underutilized, maybe if you're like me, you are thinking, if I don't do something now, then what am I going to do? When am I going to do it? I might as well just take a break and, I don't know, go to the retirement home. And that's fine for some people, but that ain't okay for me. So what is it? And you may not know. And that's okay, right? You see, I'm telling you, you may not know, but that is okay. Okay. Because that is the beginning of your journey of self-discovery, is even figuring out, what don't I want? What do I want? And if you don't know me, my name is Zandra, and I am your inner rock star life coach. And I really want to help you dream again and find that next stage for yourself, right? And figure out what is the quickest, clearest path for me to get there, and do it with the most amount of style and flair that you could possibly muster. Right? Is that what you want? I hope so, because that is what I am all about. And that's what I want to share with you. So where do we start with that? And why is it so important? Well, if you don't know who you are at the core, if you don't know what's most important to you, it's going to be really difficult for you to decide if this is what course of action to take. It's going to be really hard for you to decide what course of action to take. Do I take A or B? And then secondly, it's going to make it really difficult to know if you're being successful at it or not. Because why? You need to have an image of what success is going to look like for you in your life. And if you don't, you may go, is this working? Is this what I want? That's a lot of what, people will say, even successful people. I do it myself all the time. So that's why it's important to really dig deep into yourself and ask yourself those hard questions. And don't worry, I'm going to leave you with a couple of those hard questions and give you a few tools. Sorry, my ghost there popping in on me. Hang on. And that's really what it's about, giving you some strategies and giving you a few tools and even a couple of questions to ask yourself to really help you dig deeper into what it is that you want. All right. So it's really important, if you want to figure out what is most important to you, to start to dig deep, start to ask those hard questions, and really decide what you value, what your values are, and how you want to spend your money, your time, your attention, where you spend, who you spend your time with, right? On all those things, what you spend your money on, right? There's so many different ways that I filter my values. So, and that's really changed my life. So when I went blind it's getting on to be about 13 years ago, and I woke up completely blind in my right eye. It was like, holy crap, what's going on? What's wrong with me? What have I done wrong? And really, it was just living out of alignment with my own values. It was living off of what everybody else wanted me to do and being a people pleaser, right? Always being afraid of what people were going to think of me. And to this day, I want to tell you, I wish that it would totally go away, but I'm working on it. And that's the whole point of working on yourself. That's the whole point of personal development. So don't worry about it if you're not there yet, because I'm not. I still get concerned by what other people think. But you know what? That's not going to stop me from living my best life and unleashing my inner rock star every single day. Because what else is there, right? What else is there? Nothing. I want to keep on rocking until there's no more rocking left in me. Just joking. Okay, that's getting totally cheesy, but you know what I'm saying. So what are some ways? I don't want to give you too much, but I also don't want to leave you empty handed here. So what are a few things that you can do to start digging a little bit deeper into yourself? Okay. So the first thing that you can really do is to start to journal. And what is journaling? It's really writing down the thoughts, the feelings, your aspirations, the things that are just going on in your mind and in your body and in your soul. So journaling, people think it's like a diary. If you're like me, you're like, oh, dear diary, right? When you were a child. And it can be that if that's what you want your journaling to be about. For other people, when I work with clients, I give them questions. If you had unlimited time or money and you didn't have to worry about anything, how would you spend your time? If you had no fear at all, and it didn't matter, and it could be singing, dancing, whatever, building a house, what would you do if you knew that you couldn't fail? And that, well, I don't like public speaking, but I'd love to what would it be? So it's really not about, and you may go, but I still don't want to public speak, Sam. It isn't about that. It's starting to dig a little deeper. It's starting to ask yourself, if I couldn't fail, what would I try? If I had all the time in the world, what would I do? And I had all the money in the world, what would I do? Because right now, a lot of us will have excuses and things that get in our way. And we'll use that as a barrier or a reason that we can't move forward. And it's bullshit. Oh, sorry, it's BS. Okay. You know what I mean? And that's why you need to dig a little deeper. You need to ask yourself, if I go after this thing, what are some of the ways, or what are some of the things I want to go after is the first question, right? And then you might ask yourself, what are some of the ways that I could get these things? You might also ask yourself, what are some of the things that might get in my way? Then you might ask yourself, what can I actually do about that? How could I mitigate that? How could I support myself if I did go down that path and that got in my way? That's really what journaling is, right? It could be, what's my dream life budget? What would I spend if what would my ideal life look like? What would my house cost? What would my car cost? How much would gas? I mean, gases go, write it down, start dreaming. That's really what journaling is. It could even be a list of, what is it that I want to spend my time on? My list of 100, right? There's a whole bunch of different things, which is a list of 100 things that you could be, do, or have. What is it? Okay. So that is the first and huge step that you can take. Some people feel like, I don't like to write it down. Well, everybody's got voice recording on their phone. There is now even, you can go into a Google Doc and hit the little microphone and record yourself, and text comes up onto your screen. So there's lots of ways that you can do this without having to actually write it down. You could draw pictures. That's what vision boarding is even. You could start to use cutting pictures out of magazines, and could be part of your journaling to help you really envision what would be most important for you. Okay. So there are a few strategies under journaling. The second thing is creating a feedback loop for yourself. And what is this? It's really about being able to get feedback about your performance, about where you're at in life, so that you can decide if you're on track, if you want to speed it up, if you need more help, if you need whatever, right? That's what feedback is. It's also about accountability. So for some of us, we need to have that accountability in our lives. Story of my life. It's a dog trying to get out of here. Anywho, so a feedback loop isn't about, if you have negative thoughts about evaluation and feedback, I do. And really, it's about helping you decide, am I on track to reach my goals. So you don't want to go to somebody that's going to beat you up because you're not on track. You need somebody who's going to be a collaborator, who's going to support you and go, well, what could you have done differently? How could you do better this week? It's because it's a balance. It's about accountability and being held accountable, but at the same time, having a gentle place to fall so that you're not scared to do it, that you actually want to learn, grow, and change, because that's hard enough, let alone having somebody kick the crap out of you all the time. So having a spark team, having somewhere that somebody, some way that you can measure your life, your satisfaction with yourself, your progress, there's so many different ways. I don't want to pigeonhole it by giving it one term, but it's really about, but it's also when you're being really hard on yourself and you're beating yourself up, it's really about checking in to make sure that, because 99% of the time you are being too unkind to yourself. And so it's really important to have an accountability buddy that can say, stop being unrealistic. You're doing great. Just keep doing the best that you can. Okay. That's really what it comes down to. So don't think about feedback as something about where I'm going to be in trouble that's what I've always thought about it, right? I always felt smaller. But now that I have measures. The other thing is creating your goals is about having smart goals so that you can actually measure your progress. How much am I going to get done today? Instead of having no goals at all and feeling like a failure because, well, I didn't have any goals, but also maybe you're overachieving sometimes like I do. And I'm doing really well, but I constantly beat myself up because I didn't have a measurement for that week. So whether I want to do 3 lives or 4 lives, if I don't have any, I feel bad whether I did 0 or I feel bad if I did 5 because there's no goal. If I say that I want to do a live every day or a live 3 times a week and I make that, well, then I can celebrate. Does that make sense? I never have to second guess myself. So I can create a bit of my own feedback loop as well, right? By just deciding how many times do I want to do something? How often, right? How long do I want to do it for, right? Frequency and duration, right? If that's exercise, if that's writing, however you are going after your dreams, that's really what you need to decide how you're going to measure your success in that. Okay. And then my final tip for you is to experiment and explore. So it's amazing how many people have this set viewpoint of themselves. Like, I can't do this or I can do that. For example, I grew up, my nickname was Sports Goofy. People, if I was packing something heavy, everyone in my family would say, let me grab that for you. Because I just had a persona of not being strong. I was small and skinny. And I believed in my mind that you were born good at sports or that was it. And so I never bothered to try. I just kind of went, oh, and I was scared of sports and I just didn't want anything to do with it. And so I stayed away from it. And then, well, I didn't. I would dabble in it a little bit, but never when anybody else was around. I never did it in a competitive way. And because I was always too scared that what if I fail? And so a big part of my journey was when I decided that I want to do more sports. I want to do something physical. Why? Out of boredom. I'd moved somewhere and I didn't know what else to do. And I've always had fitness dreams, but I never thought it was for me until I moved somewhere new, until I was forced to go, well, I'm bored. I need to start doing something. So I started working out at a gym. I started walking, which then led to climbing stairs, which then led to jogging, which then led to a lifelong love of running. And I'm currently not running actively, but it doesn't matter. It's something I can always go back to. I just talked to a friend today and we're both feeling a little bit bored and unmotivated. And I use fitness. It's just one of my things. And so we started talking about what's something that we both never done before fitness wise. And so I said, I've never tried CrossFit, but I follow a lot of CrossFitters on Instagram and it looks really cool and exciting. And I wish I could do those. And it's really a test of functional strength, if you want to call it that, but the ability to lift and move heavy things. And to me, that's the ultimate measurement, right? Rather than, oh, I look good. Like, that's great. I would love to look good in my bikini too, but it's really cool to know that I can lift something heavy or somebody needs help with a box and I grab it out of their hands, they think it weighs 100 pounds. And for me, it feels like it weighs 2 pounds. I love that feeling. And if you've seen that meme about, I don't want to look pretty and skinny, I want to look like I can fight a bear. That's it. That's the look I'm going for. Okay. So what did I say is I said, have you tried CrossFit? And my friend was like, no, I haven't. And we started talking about people we know that really enjoy CrossFit. So I said, okay, I'm going to look into it. And I said, what about Orange Theory? Have you ever done that? She was like, no, it's really expensive. And I said, well, we don't have to go sign up. Sorry, Orange Theory, don't mean to judge, but it's a little bit rich for our blood because we both like to work out at home. And so I said, well, why don't we just try one class? It's not like we have to go. Maybe that's our challenge. So we've challenged ourselves to go do one new class every week or try to do something, go hike a new space, go do something. Otherwise, we could keep doing the same thing, but we're going to keep getting the same old results. Do you see what I mean? And that's the same. If you are interested in cooking and you're like, but I don't know, then you need to sign up for a cooking class, or you need to commit to trying a new recipe once a week, or you've got to decide, what am I going to add into my rotation that's going to mix it up a little bit, that's going to give it a little bit of flair. Do you know what I mean? That's what I need in my life. I need a little bit of flair. And so that's what self-discovery is going to give you. It's going to start to help you discover what is that special spice of life that you are there to sprinkle upon the world, right? What is going to light you up? What's going to get you excited about getting up every single morning? That, my friend, is what I want for you. Okay? So let me know, what is it that you are wanting to learn about yourself? There's a bunch of different things. Stay tuned. This isn't the end of them. I'm going to be giving you some tips, but I'm dying to know, what are some other ideas that you have about self-discovery, right? Are you working actively doing things that are helping you? What are some new things that you're doing? Are you incorporating any of these things into your life? Okay. And if you're interested, there is still time to get into Soul Spark. Okay. My gosh, we are having a blast. And I'm telling you, it's really the whole purpose of Soul Spark is about digging deep into self-discovery and deciding what is going to make you happy, what is going to create that vibrancy in your life, that excitement, or maybe just that next step, whatever that thing is. That's what Soul Spark is all about. Okay. So make sure, click the link below, and don't forget, come and sign up, come and join us, because I would love to help you find your inner rock star. Okay. Talk to you soon.